Keep it locked to Rasta Haile Selassie. Living for you. Can't please. Don't touch that, you know. Bam.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
You think good?
That's a chop jacket. We did.
Enjoy the soup.
It's a good soup.
Good soup.
Serve yourself some.
Yes, I will.
Forward to some of us as being involved in, and I don't mean just being in the house, but in the community, because it's just gathering stories for which we'll share later on. But also, we went to the Wizard earlier, and just want to share that with the ambassador, and the emotion of that, people be displaced, and we know what His Majesty put himself in the same way, but also strengthen that community behind the mill community, and for His Majesty to have donated his gold to the city of Bath from old people, and it's been held in that high esteem up to today. So that's been a care home, and it's now a day service, but also so many of us are here who are going to share later who play a part in the Imperial House. So,
Yes, I'm not a man of many words. I'm thankful to be here in the continuity of directors that share time with you all in commemoration of the birthday of the Caribbean. We know that it's a very auspicious date in our history, and it's one that is recognized and is recognized annually. So this is what celebration is about, and I think this is the one in as well. So let's all enjoy the celebration of the King and the Lord Charles coming out of Judah.
So I'm William. I'm living in the city of Bath, which I know meant to live in. I'm looking around and saying, where are the brothers? And then someone says, come to Fairfield House. And I offered to volunteer here for 6 months. That was 9 years ago. And what I would say is that Fairfield House for me has been a constant journey of deep learning. And it's taken me to Ethiopia, Paul and I travelled there together. It's taken me to Jamaica, we travelled there together. And I think you have to learn more about those 3 places to really understand the significance of this place. And to me, it was a revelation how important His Majesty's legacy was to people in the Caribbean, to start to understand the complexity of the legacy there and how it's perceived, and what those of us local people in Bath should do about that today. So I'm really pleased that we have a representative from the Ethiopian Embassy. Thank you so much for joining us, and everyone that's here tonight. I look forward to carrying on that.
A lot has been said. If you haven't been to the tour, I would highly recommend it. Last members, Sister Danielle, and all the other volunteers put this tour at the house on a Sunday. 2 tours, one at midday and one at 1:30. I'd highly recommend it.
Okay.
Welcome.
So we have a really special guest with us today, and I feel like us as the house today, we're representing the Caribbean, right? So we have a special guest from Ethiopia, and that's His Excellency, the Deputy Ambassador of Ethiopia, Ambassador Haile Selassie. So he's going to give us a word of welcome now.
We gather tonight in the spirit of remembrance, but also in the spirit of reflection. Because when we speak of Haile Selassie I, and it is to Caribbean, 16 years ago, 1966, I think I would like to take your imagination 6 years ago on this day. His Majesty is flying, heading to Caribbean. I think we start from the road, so just I want to take part in the presentation. So today I am representing His Majesty. He takes me as well, flying, heading to Caribbean. But I think Haiti, as usual, so you can predict some reason. We are not speaking of something distant or concluded. We are speaking of something that still is. When His Imperial Majesty journeyed to Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, to Jamaica, and to Haiti, it was far more than a diplomatic tour. It was a return of Africa to their diaspora. A recognition of bond that had never been broken, only stretched across oceans and generations. It was also an act of gratitude. For when Ethiopia faced invasion, when the sovereignty of one of the oldest nations on earth was under threat, it was the people of the Caribbean, workers, thinkers, and believers who stood in solidarity, who marched, who spoke, who organized, who understood that the struggle of Ethiopia was their struggle too. And so, in 1966, history came full circle. Nowhere was that more powerful felt than in Jamaica, where the reception was given to His Majesty was not only a political but spiritual. A moment that continues to echo through the lives and the faith of the Rastafarian movement of today. And we honor that connection with humility and deep respect, because the relationship between Ethiopia and Jamaica was not easily explained through the language of diplomacy alone. It is a relationship of the identity, of recognition of something human. It reminds us that history is not only written in books, but carried in the heart of people. We also remember that this journey was not rooted in a wider vision, one that we know as Pan-Africanism, a vision that lived in the words of Marcus Garvey, who called upon us to emancipate ourselves mentally. A vision that lived in the resistance of Ethiopia at the Battle of Adwa, which is the main reason or cause for the black emancipation. A victory that resonated across the entire African world. A vision that connected Addis Ababa to the port of Spain, to Bridgetown, Kingston, and many others. And that vision was not only a philosophical, it became tangible. In 1955, land was granted in Shashamane. A promise is, remember her children, kind of a promised land. Promise that return is possible not only in spiritual but physically. A promise that identity can be reclaimed, rebuilt, and lived. And so today, when we reflect on these histories, we must ask ourselves, what do they require of us now? Because we do not honor the past by admiring it, we honor it by continuing it. And we see that continuation in our present moment. We see this in the strength of relationship between Africa and the Caribbean through cooperation between Africa Union and the CARICOM, advanced by the shared commitment in the leadership of our leaders, including His Excellency Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and Her Excellency Prime Minister Mia Mottley, who continues to give practical expression and moment to this historic partnership. We see it in moments like the recent words of Prime Minister of Barbados, who stood in Ethiopia and reminded us that the journey of our people is not defined by limitation, but by possibility. She spoke of resilience, of unity, of the power of ordinary people to shape extraordinary outcomes. And in doing so, she echoed a truth that has guided us across generations, that we are not victims of history, it is others too. The same spirit carried Ethiopia through the war. It carries the Caribbean through the struggle of independence. It carries us still. But let us be clear, unity is not a slogan, it is a responsibility. It requires us to build bridges where there are distances, to create opportunity where there has been exclusion, to ensure that the next generation understand not only where they come from, but where they can go. And that is why gathering like this matters. Because here in this room, in this house, in this shared space, we are doing something powerful. We are remembering together, we are reflecting together, and most importantly, we are imagining together. Allow me to conclude with this. More than half a century ago, His Imperial Majesty stood before Caribbean audience, and he did not simply speak as an emperor, he spoke as part of global African family. Today, that family is larger, more connected, and more full of potential than ever before. But the questions remain the same. We will rise to meet the potential. Will we rise to meet that potential together? I believe we will, because the history of that connect Ethiopia and the Caribbean is not a history of separation, it is a history of return. Not just a return to land, but a return to itself, to dignity, to unity, and to purpose. Let us go forward then, and that spirit, one aim, one purpose, for the destiny. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Nalisa, for those powerful words. And so now we're going to view the Emperor going in the Caribbean and the footage that's available. And we were hoping to have a whole host of high commissioners and ambassadors here, but we ended up with just the Ethiopia, which was meant to be, obviously. So I'm going to invite, if there's any community members, if there's any people present from each nation, and I'm looking at you, sir, from Trinidad and Tobago. Maybe you want to come up or just share us a word about what it means to you that the Emperor visited your country. No pressure, no pressure. Just a few words.
Hello, testing. Hello, everyone. My name is Mark. I'm representing from Trinidad and Tobago. What can I say about Selassie? I think what resonates with me is the history, going back generations upon generations, possibly even biblical times. So, I don't want to get too deep right now, but I think, his message was unity with everyone. So, that's all, love and respect.
So, part of my family is also from Trinidad and Tobago, and I just want to share a special connection between Fairfield House and Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago is the first place in the Western Hemisphere with the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. It was established in 1952 in Trinidad and Tobago because the people of Trinidad wanted an authentic African church, so they sent representatives to Ethiopia, who then returned to Trinidad. And the emperor selected the priest that was to go to Trinidad and Tobago, and he selected someone that he knew was very good at ministering in exile and to people in exile. It was someone that lived in this house during the time of the emperor, called Gebra Ayesus, which is the same baptismal name as our Gebra Ayesus here, right here. So Gebra Ayesus was sent to Trinidad and Tobago, and he was known as Father Mashasha, and he later became the Abuna of the Western Hemisphere, so Abuna Athanasius. And the special connection that brings it right back to home is Abuna Athanasius was one of Ezra Sagai's teachers, and Abuna Athanasius, he presented Ezra with a collection of books that have then been gifted to Fairfield House, and they belong to this priest that used to live at Fairfield House. So that's a special connection between Fairfield House and Trinidad and Tobago. So now we watch His Majesty in Trinidad. And apologies if you...
Perils, you know, the bad vibes that was being sent to us. And so last year visit made a change because it opened our eyes and let us know that there is hope. And that is what we needed. We needed hope. We needed someone to show us the light and let us know that we're not going to just be a cast aside people. And it all started from that time. I know we have the Rastafari community in Barbados, which, as I was saying, is strong, but still is not strong enough. The reason why, because there's still a lot of separation amongst the Rastafari community in Barbados. Because you have the ones that deal with another sect, and have another sect deal with a different, ideology about how Rastafari is. But to me, Rastafari is love, it's kindness, it's peace, it's togetherness. So it don't really matter, how you are. You might be a tribe, you might be a dingy, but we are all one. As I was saying, all we come from the same leadership. And, you gotta understand that it's only love can conquer. But before love, we get away. So, we need some love in our hearts. And you can't just get love just like that. You have to give it. You give love, you get back love. You give hate, you get back hate. So what we need to do is love more. And that will help settle all the wars. Remember the words of the king, imperial majesty, the song War, which is sung by Bob Marley. And that's a song that is universal. And if a lot of people will listen to that song, there won't be no wars. Seriously. I'm a DJ too, so. Yes. Okay, so respect, and I hope that everyone will see my way. Love. So now we watch this short video of His Majesty in Barbados.
It's happy.
I know that is imperial majesty. Emperpr Haile Selassie I of Ethiopia is the Almighty. Shall break every chain. Lion of Judah shall break every chain.
Because there's a lot of footage on YouTube about that event, so most of us kind of know that already. But to share a little bit of that powerful moment, it's like we see it like the King of Righteousness come and water the seeds in Jamaica. That's how we see it, because prior to 1966, the Rastafari nation has started developing from about 1930. Then from about 1947 up until 1967, there was camps, Rasta camps, like Bongo Watto, also Count Ozzy and the Mystic Revelation of Rastafari. So there were these camps that developed around celebrating His Majesty in an aura of sacredness, because our elders had researched the lineage of His Majesty and saw the connection to Solomon and Sheba, the antiquity of all of that. Plus the liberation of Ethiopia, because those of us who was in the Caribbean had to find a redeemer, and that redeemer was His Majesty in Ethiopia. So when His Majesty came to Jamaica in 1966, that was the thing that caused this explosion of Rastafari coming out. And we hear testimonies that on the day it was quite cloudy. And when the plane come and land, the sun busts out, So there's all of these kind of testimonies of the King of Kings coming to Jamaica, So out of that also came the proliferation of Rasta reggae music, which has gone right across the world. And we see that through the likes of Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Bonnie Wailer, others. They've taken this music right across the world to sensitize the people of the consciousness of Rastafari, So I feel very encouraged by what the Ethiopian ambassador said in terms of recognizing Rastafari in that connection with Ethiopia. And it was the Rastafari peoples who over the decades have gone through great lengths to keep the history of Ethiopia alive in the consciousness of the people, so that Ethiopians can now rise and be proud again of their nation. So I give thanks to celebrate these few moments with everyone still. And what else can I say? Let us just watch this footage from the High Commissioner of Jamaica. Yeah. All right. So I do give thanks for these few moments. Rastafari.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, members of the Caribbean and African diaspora, friends of Jamaica and Ethiopia. It is my honor to bring greetings as we mark 60 years since the historic visit of His Imperial Majesty, Emperpr Haile Selassie I, to Jamaica and the wider Caribbean region, an event that continues to resonate deeply in our national memory and in the global story of African identity, dignity, and liberation. The Emperor's arrival in Kingston on the 21st of April 1966 was unlike anything our young nation had ever witnessed.
The Rastafari movement really came to Bermuda. There was very much a surge of knowledge and thirst, and that started, give thanks from reggae music, courtesy, of course, from the root of Jamaica. And this really instilled a thirst for knowledge about our history and our ancestry that kind of centered in an area what we call like Yabakaton, and that's in like the Frizzles Hill area with a lot of black youths, and that area was known as King Negus region. The emperor was described by the local writer, Mr. C.M. Morton, as a stout-hearted, quote-unquote, fearless leader. He was also very humble. In Jamaica, he is considered, I'm still reading from this is excerpts from the book, he is considered to be a god by the Rastafarian movement. Bermuda now has two groups that hold him in high esteem, and I'll pause here for 1 second, because along with a number of other formal duties, the emperor did plant a tree there in the governor's mansion, and I'm just wondering if there's anyone in the community, because of course I got this from the book. I think it's something that's known amongst the, probably amongst the communities. Does anyone here know the significance of him planting the tree in any particular country as far as the ceremony? No one?
Tree of life.
Wondering. Does it has a specific meaning?
Tree of life.
Tree of life, yes. In addition to that, I read that everywhere that the emperor planted a tree, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church came into fruition in that particular country. And in ending, it says here that, as I mentioned, that there are two groups that hold him in high esteem: members of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which was established here in Bermuda in 1975, and of course the Rastafari community. And we give thanks for that. Thank you.
Raspandeli and Raspandeli and I on the same day, and yet we never ever spoke about His Majesty. We never spoke about Fairfield House until we came here. So the mystic of that day. But one of the beauty of Fairfield House, I've had the pleasure, and I'm going to talk Barbados University and John Stratton, who have supported my visit to Ethiopia as well as to Jamaica with William. And we know, just going anywhere and using Fairfield House, you get into so many places, you're welcomed by so many people. So when I went to Jamaica 2015, I met a Rastafari man outside the craft market, selling some items. And I'm just chatting to him, and I remember having one of these bracelets on. So I gave him one of mine, and he told me his story. I've seen His Majesty coming along that road, because it was a train line at the time. We weren't even talking about testaments or anything. I'm just chatting, and I didn't record him. I went back to Jamaica in 2024, and this now was very, very interesting, because we were invited to Bob Marley's day at Hope House. And whilst we were there were lots of children all taking part, because that's an annual event. And there were some elder Rastas playing the drums. Well, after they came and sat on the table William and I was on, we ended up interviewing them. This time I got my phone out and I was able to interview. I don't know if you can just play one of those interviews that was done. And it was just on the off cut, is that me?
Rastaman and I need it, the bell bottom. Draw much than I need it, and can't take a fire.
Alright. But in Africa, once he was on the island, what did he get to see? Who did he get to meet? You know, they went to places, they didn't just stop. I met a young man who said he was in a school. So the school, the children were, not to me, children were asked to come and sing for the emperor. So do you know anything else that he would have done once he was there?
No, I wouldn't be.
before we enjoy Rastafari.